what do we have here? This is a special one because this is for my friend whose wife asked me what knife to get him for Christmas. So this is not this one. This is gonna be mine. This is not mine yet. This is Alan Eller's knife that he is gonna give me once I get finished doing mods on his knife. So he sent it along. So right now I'm just like looking at it and like, you know, I open it now and then, but it's not mine yet. But we can use it to open this for a reason, because he, like, you know, talks up this Kansept stuff all the time and then sent me this. And so this was in my head when my friend's wife said, well, what should I get him? Well, I don't want to mess up this box. What should I get him for Christmas? And I thought about Kansept and their really nice timascus that is just really pretty and a pretty good price comparably for timascus. It's pretty expensive stuff. Usually if you have a knife that has a full side made of timascus, it's going to be, you know, $500-600, whatever, something like that. I think this guy's only like $325 or something like that. So let's get that out of the way. Let's get this other Kansept opened and let's see what she looks like. Not too heavy. This is a small or mini Accipiter. Oh wow, that's pretty. Holy shit. And it has the Damasteel blade also. Beautiful clip. That's really nice. All right, let's see how the action is. Nice. And the other thing I want to do is, well, I didn't say I was going to do anything yet, but I am going to do something. We're going to put some color on this body outside of the insert piece. Okay, I'm hoping that piece comes out without too much trouble. I think it's gonna, but I don't know. Right now, it's only a front flipper. That's all it is. I think I also want to put a thumb stud right there. A nice thumb stud to let you open it, slow roll it. I think it's going to slow roll really nice. Boy, that is really pretty. Wow, that is a nice pattern. And then the pattern on this stuff. Here, let me get my fingerprints off of it. Just beautiful. So that's the deal. I'm going to do some work on this guy, pretty it up a little bit, and then send it on to my buddy, and then we'll both have some pretty little Kansepts with timascus. His is a little prettier than mine. If you get it without the Damascus blade, it's only like $200, $219, something like that. Can I go this way? Whoa. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna break this guy down and see what we need to do to make it super pretty. So we got it apart, but man, it was not easy. This pivot screw has too much Loctite and had too much Loctite. It felt sketchy getting it out. I was afraid, I don't know, something. The threads might get hurt or I'd slip off and scratch something. Super lucky, didn't slip off. The other negative is it's got a non-captive pivot, so it's got Torx heads on both sides and nothing stops either side from turning, so you have to have a wrench at both sides. Now you might not have had to have a wrench at both sides if I say if maybe there's no washer. I think it almost looks like there's a washer there, but no, I guess that's just the blade. Okay. You would have to have two wrenches unless it wasn't Loctited. If it wasn't Loctited, you might get away with using one wrench. Probably could, but they Loctited the shit out of it, so you got to. I'm gonna put the blade in here because I am messing with that, and it's beautiful, and I don't want to mess with it. I get it scratched, drop it, some shit like that. So anyway, we got that going on. I got another washer. I got the pivot. I'm not going to mess with the pivot, so the pivot goes in there. Pivot comes in from the lock side. Remember that. Okay, we got the little back spacer. We're going to color that, I think. Something a little better than... That's a little boring. The pocket clip is beautiful, too. Look at that. And it works well. So, that's nice. That's a nice satin kind of bead blasted finish. It's going to polish up pretty easy and do a nice color, I think. We'll get the steel insert out of the lock. Boy, that feels like it's also Loctited, maybe. Okay, it came out, but I'm guessing it does have a bit of Loctite on it. I don't know why it's not just coming out. Okay, there we go. Loctite, yep. A bit of the blue. Better than red. Better than red. Always put your lock insert screw back in the lock insert, because sometimes you got screws that are different sizes and it's hard to tell which one is which. And the insert screw is usually kind of one of the shortest ones, but not always. So it's good to get it started back in there just a little bit and toss it in whatever container you're going to use. Put your bearings in there. We'll get these guys cleaned up, although they look pretty clean, so that's nice. And we'll figure out what we're going to do. What is that? Wait, what? I thought this screw had fallen out. Okay, that's weird. Okay, so I just put the wrong screw in the lock bar insert because the one that was in the handle didn't actually fall out. Let's go back in time and find out how I screwed up and got the wrong screw. You can get the steel insert out of the lock. Boy, that feels like it's also Loctited, maybe. So as I'm trying to unscrew this screw, I don't notice that there's one right below it, right there on the mat. So when I bang on it and the lock bar insert falls out, I think the screw also falls out, but really it stays in there, and then I mistakenly pick up the one down below, thinking that's it. That kind of shit happens all the time. The one that was in the handle didn't actually fall out. And it is shorter than the one I tried to use. So the one I tried to use was one that was just there on the table from another part of the knife. The real one that goes in is right here. So see how easy these screws can be confused? I just did it live. I thought it had fallen out of the handle, but it actually was still in there. So, okay, I think everything's accounted for now other than that washer. Get that guy in there. Got a lot of pieces. Man, it's kind of the normal amount. All right, now I want to be real careful doing this one not to scratch the pocket clip, because I'm not going to mess with any of the timascus. I could mess with it. I could, theoretically, polish it more than it is already, although it's already pretty polished, and then recolor it. And I could actually make it a little bit different color by changing the amount of heat or electricity that's put through it from what they did. And then you would have a different look. But I think it looks great, so I'm not going to mess with it. But we are going to mess with these handles. We're going to pretty them up. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is clean these up and then start some polish on them. Get a little polish on them. And then electrocute them until they look cool. So if you remember what it originally looked like, it had this kind of a finish on over all of it. And so we've sanded it, polished it, and prettied it up. So I've been dipping it in at different voltages. I got the purple first at a lower voltage, and I'm kind of like just dipping in corners and kind of splashing the water up on it, just to kind of bring some blue into it without getting rid of all of the purple. And I think it's going well. I think I like how it looks with sort of the purple mixed in with the blue. I think it goes really well with the timascus. So I think I'm going to leave it right there. That's the lock side. And then we'll see what we do with the other side. Sometimes it's the little things. Can we see the difference? Let me zoom in. Can you see the difference between the polished standoff and the non-polished one? So they normally come looking like the one on the left, and then I polished them so that they look shiny. Shiny. So there it is. I think this fingerprint magnet right here is the prettiest thing I've ever anodized. It came out fucking beautiful. It's kind of insane. Now to put a thumb stud in the blade. The Kansept Mini Accipiter, all finished up, all prettied up and polished, and added thumb studs and polished and anodized body. Now it's a fingerprint magnet. You got to wash your hands before you touch it, and you still leave fingerprints on it, just like that. Boop. Yeah, I don't know. I wash my hands really good. Front flipper works great. The new thumb studs work great as you can slow roll it, or you can pop it. Whoopsie. You have to watch out that this thing doesn't get on your finger as it comes around. You got to have your finger down a little bit. You can reverse flick it, of course. I didn't do anything to the timascus insert or the clip. Just the frame. Put the pretty color on it, the pretty polish, back spacer, and the new thumb studs. And that's it. So it's ready to go to my buddy. Hopefully he enjoys it. And hopefully you enjoyed the process of goofing around with this thing. Have a nice day.